came to this country when I was 16 years old with zero in my pocket. And from there, I worked myself up. I knew what I wanted. You have to have a vision. And you need to have fire in the belly. Yeah, Joey, what's going on today? You good?
We're good, let's go.
Good. So you know what I want to talk about? You have a property and you want to list it. Before you do anything, you know what your best buyer is?
What's that?
You will never believe it. Your next door neighbor.
Your next door neighbor.
Your next door neighbor, absolutely.
Okay.
That's your best buyer, no commission. Now, is that mean you're gonna buy it? We don't know.
We don't know.
We don't know. And as an example, okay, let's say I own a strip center. 10,000 square feet strip center, 15,000 square feet strip center, something worth, I don't know, $4 or $5 million, okay? And I know next door there's another one, that a different owner, okay? Why not approach to the guy, approach him?
Right.
Or her, listen, I have a strip center for sale, okay, are you interested off market, before it goes to the market? And I found that those are the best buyers, okay, right under your nose. Okay, and if it doesn't happen, then of course you want to list it. But I think it's very important, okay, when you give a listing to a broker. So number one, there's a few things going on here. Number one, you need to make sure that broker is a top dog. You don't want to give a listing to somebody that's trying right now to get his feet wet. You don't have time for that, okay? I'm sorry for that broker, okay? You can't give a listing to a mentor. You don't want to give a listing for a rookie, excuse me. Does that mean they're never going to get a chance, the rookie? No. As a rookie, if you're a rookie broker, you want to team up with a top dog broker.
Right. And build your credibility that way.
Build your credibility and build your future.
Be part of a winning team.
Correct. With that person.
To then eventually show up as yourself, and you're now the experienced veteran.
Exactly, because if I'm a seller, okay, I want to team up with a winner. Unfortunately, that's the way the world, runs around winners and champions, okay? That doesn't mean somebody inexperienced, okay? Ever gone to a restaurant and the waitress is like, you know what, this person is training with me. And they follow them. It's okay. So if you're a rookie broker, a rookie realtor, just started out yesterday, for that matter, I suggest, okay, to team up with a winner person, a winner broker.
Same goes for the investors.
Investor too.
You want to be an investor. You're a rookie investor.
Correct.
Everybody starts somewhere. You eventually
have to team up.
At one point you were a rookie investor, right? And you had either a partner who knew more than you. And like you always say, you have to team up with someone smarter than you and be the stupidest person in the room.
Exactly. Now the drawdown to that, okay, that rookie broker is not going to make as much commission. Ladies and gentlemen, it's not about the commission. It's about learning experience. The knowledge you're going to get from a champion is priceless.
Right.
Absolutely priceless. You agree?
Absolutely.
You can't put a price on it.
Absolutely.
So so you're not going to make a lot of money in the first deal or the second deal, but you're going to learn, okay?
Right.
You know, just taking the listing, it's not really, it's only a beginning.
Right.
Now you find a buyer, and not to get to the closing table, okay? It's really a lot of work. It's like having a baby.
What do you think about people wanting to get into, like, let's say real estate as an example, and they read a lot of books? What do you say to that? A lot of people read, and they kind of have like, analysis paralysis.
The problem is, it's not really reality, because the real world, it's not books. They don't teach this to you in school or in universities or yeshiva for that matter, okay? You need to put, what I call it, boots on the ground and get your hands dirty.
Right.
So people ask me, I'm 18 years old, how can I make money? And you know what?
All the time.
That's
They
okay.
ask you all the time.
And you know what? I have a secret for you, okay? You can make money, you're 18 years, you don't have money, zero money. How? You team up with a developer. Someone like me, team up with me, okay? Knock on my door. Hey, I know you're a real estate developer, I know you're a real estate your owner, you're buying property, you buy a multifamily, I read about you. First you have to find, you're 18 years old, find a person that is on properties. Number one, learn about a person through the website. Don't go to them, don't go in with no knowledge. Number two, you knock on the door, say, you know what? I'm 18 years old, I have no experience, I have zero. I don't want money, I don't want salary, nothing. Tell me what you buy, I'll go find for you. And give me consultant fee. How good is that? Or put me in a deal 10%.
Right. I saw you posted it the other day, you were talking about something similar to that.
Right.
The 18-year-old and what they would do to get into the business. And you said something about, I think it was that they should find a deal, cold call, find a deal.
Correct.
Then make them an equity partner in the deal.
Correct, but first-
let me ask you, if I was, let's say I was 18 again, and I wanted to do that, number one, I'm 18, I don't know what a good deal is. That's number one, right? I'm 18, I don't know what a good deal is. I think everything's a good deal, right? Number two, I have no money, right? So you as an experienced investor, right? If I have no money, and I don't know what a good deal is, how do I even have the guts and the balls to go and approach an investor
let me
and
ask a
say,
question.
hey, I'm gonna have equity in a deal? Right, so tell me how you think.
Do you have a fire in the belly?
Yeah. If you did, yeah, of course. you
I
did.
I have an employee, one of my property, okay, Israeli guy, not to mention names, okay, very inexperienced, came to me, no experience, but you know what? Fire in the belly, in the willingness to go the extra mile. What do you do with that? Do you get rid of it, or do you mentor them?
You mentor them.
Thank you.
Because they have the
Exactly.
right. They have the right.
They have the right
mentality.
attitude. Exactly.
And if they have the right mentality,
Correct.
all you got to do is just teach them.
Exactly.
And then they'll go
So
far.
exactly. So if you're 18 years old, okay, and obviously you brought up a good point. You don't know anything about property. You don't know how to underwrite properties. You need to teach yourself through YouTube. You go to YouTube and you say, type in how do I underwrite property.
It's crazy today. That's what you can do.
Everything
back
today.
then,
Back then you
what
can't
would
do
you
anything.
You can go to a book and find that
Exactly.
information. Today you go online.
Exactly.
Learn from people like you.
Right. And then, okay, you're going to make a mistake. Maybe you're not going to find the right property, again and again, but you're going to approach the sponsor. At the end of the day, you're going to understand what he likes. Because you're going to give him one property or another property. He tell you what I like and what I don't like. And then you take the lead from that.
But how would like an 18-year-old, if they wanted to get equity in a deal, because you mentioned that you can get equity in a deal potentially, how would they do that without tying the property up under their name?
So no. So what you do, you first of all you have to find the right sponsor. Now to find the sponsor. Now the sponsor tell them, I'm a sponsor. I'm looking for 200 plus units, 300 units, Central Florida. Okay. If the deal makes sense, I'll give you 10% equity, free 10%. But the deal has to make sense. What does it mean? That means you're gonna have to dial the phone and handle rejections, because I don't pay market deal, okay? I need to have some meat in the bone. But once I know the deal makes sense and I'm happy, I'm gonna move forward, I put you 10% in the deal. So the question is, how does the kid, how can a kid, 18 years old, secure himself knowing that, you know what, this guy doesn't go around me. Okay?
Yeah, I mean, it's intimidating as an 18-year-old to see a deal. I mean, look, right now we're looking at this deal in Jacksonville, right? Brand new deal, Class A, 312 units, right? I mean, you look at something like a $60 million price tag, it scares you when you have no money.
Right, so you need to find out, first of all, from the sponsor. You're not buying. You're 18 years old, you're not a buyer, obviously, okay?
And when I say 18, I mean 18, 20, 25, even
Right.
30. I mean, there's really no
Inexperience. It doesn't make you a bad person,
Inexperience,
okay?
Correct.
You need to see what the sponsor likes, what turn the sponsor on, okay, when it comes to a property. And the sponsor going to give you the criteria, and then you're going to follow that. Listen, if someone tomorrow knock on my door, okay, hey, I'm 20 years old, don't give me any money, okay, tell me what you buy. I'll give him 5 minutes of my time. I need this, X, Y, Z, D. Why not?
Right.
You know what? We are always looking for good opportunities.
Sure.
And if somebody wants to work and give us a deal, why not?
Right. Yeah. Because if they're working for you, number one,
Exactly.
they're getting
right.
paid when there's when they sell the property to they make a commission.
Right.
Otherwise, they're not. It's not like you're paying them. Everybody who's working for you is
No,
paying
no,
salary.
you're right, correct, yeah.
Obviously, you have your internal team, but then you have your external team,
Yeah.
which is the people that are going out, boots on the ground, trying to
And
find you deals.
It's all about putting together a winning team
Right.
to find you the right deal.
Right.
Now, today we're talking about Jacksonville, right?
Yeah, that deal that we were just talking about, that's $62 million. Just
I'm
around
not
there.
afraid of it. Okay, we like big numbers.
Well, you're not afraid of it.
No,
You've been in
we like
business
big
too long.
numbers,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So $62 million. Okay, how much
Right.
per door?
Yeah, it's 200.
200,000 per door.
200
Brand
per
new.
door. Yeah, 2023 build.
So let me explain to you guys, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Joy Lezer, you can build it for $200,000 door. You cannot build it.
Right. So the replacement cost
Already the replacement
is
cost.
already higher than this property, which means just if
You're making money already
you're making money day one.
because the replacement cost cannot be duplicated for that price.
Correct. Right.
Is that means a good deal? No, that's only the one component,
One-
right? Right. So now we're going to look what's the average rent?
Average rent here in place just under $1,500.
$1,500. Now, so we have the 1% rule, okay? The 1% rule applies for older product. 60,
Right, like you always talk about 1%
70,
rule.
80.
You always talk about it.
Yes, what's the 1% rule, okay? So let's say I'm paying $200,000 a door. I want to have an average of $2,000 a month rent. Okay. Unfortunately, the 1% rule does not work for better product, for a newer product.
Right. And the reason why you teach that is because you know most of your audience, or most people, right, in general, when they're looking at deals, they're not looking at Class A $60 million deals.
No, they're
So
looking
I'm saying,
at
so that's not
Class
most
C.
people's appetite.
Correct.
So
correct.
the majority of people are not looking at $60
They're
million
not.
deals.
They're not. They're not.
So the 1% rule is more for the general investor.
For the general
who's-
investor, Class
especially
B
if
and
they're
C.
rookie, right?
Class-
Especially if they're a rookie, they're buying older products.
Especially
anyways.
rookie, yeah. Right. So let's talk about this deal. So they're asking $200,000. What's the average rent?
Just under like 1485.
1485. And what is the potential rent?
The potential rent, we get probably $150 premium over rent, so about $1,650.
It's a little weak. So here's the play here. So first of all, what is the 1% rule apply for? No older product. What percent rule apply for new product? What's the average rent?
1485.
1485, and I'm paying. Okay, 1
200.
second. Okay, 1485. I'm paying how much?
200 a door.
So really, that's 75 cent. 75%. 0.75%.
75 basis points.
75 basis point is the average rule. I'm okay with that. Number one, you have to understand when you come to a newer product, there is usually and most definitely zero deferred maintenance.
Right,
That's a big thing.
right.
Okay, that's a very big thing.
Right, there's no CapEx.
No CapEx,
None
nothing.
of that to be done on the
Nothing,
property.
no nonsense. Number two, the owner is not responsible for utilities. Tenant pay their own utilities. Already, that's shaving off at least about 5%, 5 to 7% of the expenses, because utility. I've seen utility runs as high as for 200, $400,000 a year.
400,000 a year.
Oh yeah, imagine zero.
Wow.
Yeah,
So in this case, the tenants are paying the utilities,
correct.
right?
Yeah. Number three, when you look for a 2000 Class A, 2 years old, 3 years old, right? Not 10 years old, right, Joey?
Right.
2 or 3 years old, okay? This is not a 1 year, 1 2 year play. It's a 5 year play. So basically, all you have to do, okay, put a good mortgage on it, low rate, agency loan, or fixed mortgage, interest only for the first 3 years because you're building up the rent, and that's it. Collect a check every month. It's not that simple. Obviously, you have to manage it. Okay. However, because of the Class A and because of the nuance of the property right, it's not old. It's a newer property. Okay. You're already an advantage.
Right.
So, question: why not everybody's doing Class A? We all want to do that. We can't find them. Usually, Class A.
Can't find them, meaning they're not for sale, or
No, they can find. The margin is very thin, because they'll run anywhere between 3.25 to 3.75 per door. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's big money depending on the market. But
Right.
yeah, South Florida for sure.
Correct. Yeah. So when you're talking about 200,000 a door, okay, and Jacksonville is not a bad market, by the way. Secondary market for sure, but not. It's not a tertiary market. It's not a sleeping town. It's
Sure.
not.
Right.
You know. I will definitely pursue this deal. At 200,000 door.
Right.
Okay. Did you get a quote from the
Yeah.
mortgage company?
Yeah, I got a quote. Yeah, pretty
And
low.
what did they give you?
5.25.
5.25 interest only.
Interest only.
For 3 years?
2 years. I have 2 years here, but probably get 3 years.
3 years.
Yeah,
What's the play here? What is the what's your IRR?
Just about 20%.
Total
On
project
project level IRR, 20%.
20%? Yeah. 20% project level IRR. I like to see a little more. What's your how much you went up in rent?
150 over their current rent.
I think.
And I think right now they're currently.
You
I'm
go
trying to see-
200.
I mean, they're pretty vacant. They're right now. Let me see what their vacancy.
What's
is.
the average rent right now?
Their vacancy right now?
Well, it's
I mean, it's in lease up, so they're like 80% occupied.
so I did drive the property, okay, and I did like what I see, but I agree it doesn't have a big upside, okay.
Is it,
But
I
you
think
remember
I
to
think-
get
I think you said
200.
it wasn't on a main road. Was that
No,
one
but there was
foundation?
nothing there within 5 miles.
Nothing there.
No, and it's about 1 mile to major highways. Not bad. What's the average rent right now?
Right now it's 1485.
2 and 3 bedroom.
1s, 2s, and 3s.
I would put $200 more.
Okay, so if you put $200 more,
Yes.
I'll tell you what return it would come out to. $200. Now you're at just about 25%.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. What's your first year income?
First year income, your gross income, gross collected income, 6.3 million.
Second year?
6.8,
Third year?
and then 7, and then 7.2, and
Yeah,
then
yeah.
7.4.
I'm good with $200.
And when you say $200, I mean, just maybe explain to the audience, how do you just pull that out of thin air? How do you know $200? Yeah.
So I visited the property, and because of the noise of the assets, there's not enough product in the area. Okay, so when it's the only one, you have an extra room to go up. Now, if you can go up, why don't they do it? So let me explain. It's a very easy. There's a very easy answer to that. Okay, as a new product, you can't be too aggressive.
Right.
Okay, so when you go through a lease up, okay, you can't be too aggressive. Now, once you finish your lease up and you finish the cycle, and it's up to 90%, okay, so they have what they call lease turnover and lease burn off. During that time, when you change ownership, change a tenant, okay, now price goes up. You stabilize, okay. Now you gotta make sure that the market does give that price.
Right.
The market is what it is with the performer rent.
And in this case, probably, if I were to just assume for this property,
Right.
they probably have a developer who built this. Like they're probably the owner right now, the developer. So they
Right.
never traded hands yet. It's never traded to a new
No,
buyer.
so by the way,
And
we love a property that never traded hand.
Right.
We love them.
And I'm saying the upside for that is that the developer, since it never traded hands, he has a construction loan he's got to pay off.
Right.
He's got to refi or sell.
Right.
He's in a time crunch. So what is he going to do? Is he going to try to get the highest rent and wait? Or is he going to...
No,
he
he's
doesn't have
gonna.
time.
He wants to just dump it.
He has to dump it. So
That's it.
that's why he may be offering concessions. He may
Correct.
be offering lower market
Correct.
rent
Right.
just to get the property off, and he's already making money.
Exactly.
Because he's at a lower basis. Because
Exactly.
he built it obviously at that time. He
Correct.
probably made
Right.
money.
Right.
So for
Right.
you,
Right.
you see the upside. But everybody, that's what it kind of shows you how in business, especially in the real estate business, everybody has their niche,
Right.
And they can make money even if they make money doesn't mean you can't make money.
Right.
They can make a profit, and you can also make a profit.
And by the way, correct. And by the way, the $200, okay, can vary from. As an example, okay, you can charge a trash pickup. What does it mean? Valet trash pickup. How about that?
Right.
Don't
so
go
you're adding
anywhere.
income. You're adding income
Of
to
course.
the top line.
You can charge a smartphone feature. You can unlock the door from your phone. That's another charge, okay?
Right.
You can charge late fee. You can charge premium for the first floor, okay? So the average overall, that gets you $200.
Right.
By the way,
All
premium, being on the first floor, it's tremendous upside. People want first floor. They don't want to go upstairs.
Right.
They don't want to go
Really?
up.
That's what you noticed? You noticed that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They'll pay an extra $150 up to $200 just for that.
To be on the ground floor?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that. Interesting. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some people like to be really high up, like you do, right?
Yeah,
And
well,
some
no,
people
because
like to be
that's a big high
Right,
rise.
it's a different-
High rise.
yeah,
But for
different
talk
level.
about mid rise
Sure.
or talk about for 2 or 3 story, nobody wants to carry bags upstairs,
Right.
right?
Right. Let's say that.
Although the first floor is more of a people can break into it.
Well,
Imagine that.
I mean, Class A, usually your demographics are a little different.
That's the
Typically,
idea.
crime is low, right? I mean,
That's
that's
the
why-
idea. But
that's
you know
why
what? Crime is everywhere. Unfortunately, you can't deny crime.
can't run
And
away.
by the way, this property, speaking of which how can I get more money in rent? I'm going to put security
Security.
at nighttime.
There's
no security at
24-hour
night.
security.
No, at nighttime only.
Nighttime shift security. Way to add value to the property.
That's value add, correct? Yeah. So there's no such thing zero capex. Okay, you need to have some money in the capex. I would say $500,000 for this property. Not too much.
Yeah, it's actually what we put here. Yeah, we put a
Yeah,
$500,000.
yeah, right. It's under 3,000 a door. Okay, it's really not. It's not necessarily to improve the property, meaning to put gold in the apartment. No, the apartment is beautiful, the clean, the brand new. Okay, but it's what they call it. It's what we're gonna do, like curve appeal. Make sense?
Right.
The curve appeal, ladies and gentlemen, curve appeal of a property is the number one selling point in multifamily, whether you want to sell it or you want to get a new tenant to come to you. Because if I drive the property, okay, and I don't see curb appeal, see trash on the floor, I don't see good landscaping, I'm out. I'm going next door. If I see like nice landscaping, I don't see trash, okay, and I see that everything is really clean. You see mulch, okay, you see like nice environment. It's very inviting, okay.
You pull up
when it comes to that.
nice trees, nice flowers, a
Right.
fountain or
People
something.
love a fountain. People love that, okay, because you know what? That's what we call pride of ownership.
Right, it's aesthetically
Pride
pleasing.
of ownership.
Yeah, it's aesthetically
Right.
pleasing. You want to
Correct.
pull up to a place that has a nice welcoming feeling.
Yeah,
Even
and
if the unit looks nice,
I don't care.
it doesn't matter, right? It's also what
That's
does
number. The
attraction-
unit
what's the-
being nice or not nice. Number two. Number one, cover pill. Why is that?
Yeah.
Let's say I have gold in the unit, but the cover pill is zero.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna get anybody to come in.
Nobody's getting the gold. They don't even want it. It's about the first impression.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Right.
that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. So now we're talking about this deal. So this is really most of our in the past we did value add, class B and class C, but we're gonna get involved more in class A because we like the idea that it's a every month you get a return. Okay, may not be high return, maybe like 6%, 7% return on your money, but you have an institutional quality assets.
Right. So you're
that you
making
keep.
that 6-7% while waiting for rents to grow over time, which
And
they will.
appreciation.
Which they will. and
Absolutely.
Appreciation.
Right.
Plus, you're getting those tax benefits
Correct.
and everything that comes along
And
with
it's
it.
multifamily.
And it's multifamily, and it's not going anywhere.
It's not going anywhere, and everybody loves multifamily. I got it from phone call that other day from a colleague of mine. He owns a retail, and you can't find a tenant. One big tenant left,
find a
okay,
tenant, wow.
yeah, dollar store, okay. Or another one was a different situation where it's another grocery chain, okay. And the problem with the retail, okay, and I say it over and over again, it's very difficult to replace the one large tenant of 20,000 square feet, 25,000 square feet. Granted, once you replace it, you get a value.
Right.
But sometimes it might take 2 or 3 years to get a tenant.
Wow. Because you're so limited.
You're limited
in
to what you can
and
get,
what,
right.
and what your tenant is going to be
Correct.
like multifamily, you're not limited.
No, you're
Everybody
limited.
Needs
You
a
can
place
have
to everybody needs a place to live.
And you can run successfully multifamily assets with 5% vacancy all day long.
Right. Right. And I guess it's another key to talk about, like, if you own, let's say, a 4-unit complex or a 3-unit complex, and 2 of your units are down, 2 of your units are vacant, you're 50% vacant.
That's
How do
what
you can't pay the mortgage?
We
you
don't
can't
like
pay, you
we
can't
don't
pay
like
for the
2
operating
units, 4
expenses.
units. We don't like that. I know.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like if you buy 300, people think they have this stigma about it. Like if you buy a big deal, they're like, wait, but how do I occupy the whole thing? The thing is, if you have 5% vacancy on a 300 unit, how many units is that? 5%?
300 units, whatever. Right,
It's
15 units.
15 units. You're 15 units down, but you're only 5% versus the
Right.
guy who has a quadplex and he's 2
Nothing.
units down.
Right.
He's 50%.
Right.
50% occupied.
That's why I said if you have an opportunity, you want to buy 2 units or 5 units, 2 units, 3 units, 4 units, okay. As a flip, it's okay. 1, 2, 3, but do not buy it, okay, and get comfortable.
Don't get
That's not take it to the next level.
Right. No, it won't. It won't.
We're not.
It won't. And they call it house hacking today.
House hacking. No, we're
You
not.
know,
No.
you buy a unit, you live in one of them.
Right.
You rent out the other 3. You live in where you buy a
Correct.
quadplex.
That's exactly.
It has to pay your mortgage. You're basically living there as like a free tenant, but you own the
Right.
building, right?
Exactly.
They're paying your rent.
Right.
But at the end of the day, you can't get comfortable doing that.
Cannot.
If you do, you can never get rich.
No,
doing that.
because you can't take it to the next level. No, we're not. If you might as well go get a job.
Right. But you can't. You can't
No, you
get rich
cannot
buying
get rich
4
with it.
units.
No way, can't get rich with that.
Has anybody
no.
ever got rich buying 4 units?
No, however, okay, if they kept doing the same thing over and over and over and over, yes. But-
At scale.
Yeah, at scale, not for 1, 2.
Not 1 or 2.
Right.
Right. Right. But it's a good. You would think like it's a good way to break in as a rookie.
You need to break in as a rookie. You need to, correct. It's a good way to break in, but a better way to break in is to team up with the sponsor.
Right. Team up with someone smarter.
Right.
And someone who has more experience.
More experience to get involved in bigger properties,
Right.
bigger units.
Right.
Because the bigger the unit is, the bigger number of units, the less risk is involved, providing the sponsor knows what he's talking about. Yes.
Right.
You want to make sure the sponsor is qualified.
Right. Like you know Grant Cardone?
Yes.
Yeah. One of the things he preaches, which you probably don't agree with, he would say like just start with a big. He used to talk about small. You can get 16 units, 32 units. Then he started saying, just skip the one, go to 300 units. But
Can't
every
do that.
single,
No,
but
you
every
can't-
person,
you can't-
but
you
every
can't do
person
that.
that
No.
started when he
You gotta start small, okay?
They all started buying small deals.
Baby step. It's okay.
Yeah.
There is nothing wrong with that. There's no shame. It's starting small.
Yeah, like you can't be a rookie and buy a 300 unit deal unless you're partnered with someone
Right, you
who's
can't.
buying that 300
Exactly.
unit deal. Otherwise, you can't do it. You don't
You
know
can't
what
be.
you don't know what you're doing.
Exactly.
It's like
Exactly.
it's like imagine you have no experience doing something
Right.
and then you're buying the top of the notch product before even having that experience. Like it
Right.
doesn't make any sense.
Right. Does not.
Yeah.
So that's why I always tell people, okay, wait for the right deal to come by, or the right sponsor for that matter.
All right.
Don't have that money burn a hole in your pocket.